Well, another question for CM Punk. This one from Dave Meltzer.
Oh, boy.
Wanted to ask him about other people he wanted to work with. So let's hear this. But before that, Punk brings up what happened with the buckshot lariat. So let's go to this.
After the match, you kind of made a joke, kind of in jest and kind of not about never doing another buckshot lariat.
Yeah.
I mean, did you feel like when you did that, it was like, oh my God, I made a mistake? Or was it just like...
Oh, I'm sure you're not going to give me 5 stars. Yeah, you know, that's one of those fucking things. That's the only time that I've missed it since I've tried it. I did it on TV, and I just didn't hit it for whatever reason, and it sucks. But you know, that's the fun thing about pro wrestling is I'm more comfortable when shit goes fucking sideways, and not everything needs to look perfect, in my opinion. I'll probably beat myself up about it way too much, but you know, mistakes happen.
So now,
let me pause it there real quick, Jim. What are your thoughts on his reaction to Dave's question about the buckshot lariat?
Well, I think that was a reasonable way to look at it. You know, it's not his specialty. It's something that he's been doing because of the program he's in, but he doesn't have the, you know, years of experience doing it, and he probably ain't going to do it anymore, but he ain't going to dwell on it. It's not like he fucking landed on his head and was carted off to the hospital. He landed on his feet and fell back. But like I said, it was noticeable the second time. I don't know if I would have gone for the second one or not, but I guess they had to do what they wanted to do.
Let's go back to this. Dave asking Punk about guys he wants to work with. Let's hear if this jibes with who you think he should work with.
Now, going forward as champion, are there any names that you're looking forward to more than others? I mean, there's a list of 30 guys or more that you could go right through, but is there anyone that you're going like right now, whether it's whoever it is, that you're really looking forward to going against next?
Oh, well, obviously we got Forbidden Door coming up. So, you know, to me, focusing on that, I think Okada, Tanahashi, Ospreay, guys like that, I'm looking forward to stepping in the ring with. AEW talent, I always think number one with a bullet is going to be Bryan Danielson. I've never wrestled Jon Moxley. I wrestled Dean Ambrose, so that's an interesting matchup. There's still guys on my list that I've never wrestled. There's Jungle Boy, Ricky Starks. I could probably finish out my career wrestling FTR like every day for the rest of my life, and it could be different and fun every single time. Will Hobbs is another guy that I think has all the potential in the world. We got a really stacked roster. It's almost a crime that we can't do everybody justice at once, but I think we're getting there with baby steps, and I think we're learning. I think we may make mistakes, you know, but instead of, you know, dwelling on it and punishing other people or ourselves, I think we move on and we just, you know, try to learn from things. But Bryan Danielson would probably be the first guy that comes to mind. Very selfishly, I'd love to wrestle him again.
Let me get your thoughts on that answer, Jim. And of course, there's some notable names he did not list.
Well, first of all, I mean, he, like everybody else in the business and that has any experience, knows what they're doing, knows that Dax and Cash are the two best workers in the company, so he'd love to work with them every day for the rest of his life. He mentioned the top Japanese guys, and I could give two shits and a whistle whether I ever see any of those matches or not, because I don't care. But I would love to see Punk and Danielson. You know, he was nice enough to say, oh, there's 30 guys, but he could only name a few. And there's really, goddamn, I mean, there's guys that you could want to see Punk wrestle because he will have a good match with them and he will elevate them and they might come out, you know, looking better than they did before. But of the actual alleged main event guys in the company right now, who's in line for a title shot and who could be put in line very quickly for a title shot against CM Punk? Everybody else is involved in shit. Everybody wins as much as they lose as much as they win. Is there a clear person besides the thought is in everybody's mind is Danielson because he's so fucking good? Who else would it be that would draw any money?
Well, they just had Danielson lose to Jericho, so obviously they're setting him up for the world title, clearly.
Well, yeah, and also, and that's another thing. By the time he gets to Punk, he's been beat by Jericho in a garbage match for no reason.
But notice Punk didn't say Jericho. He didn't even say Omega. He had a very interesting list of guys
He wants to draw money and have good matches. He doesn't want to have his popularity sapped by a chameleon, nor does he want to get into interpretive ballet.
No, the other name I was listening to hear if he would say would be Samoa Joe. Because that's still one of the ones, even though they booked Joe like shit so far, it's one of the ones I'm still intrigued to see after all these years.
That would be interesting also. And maybe he just, unfortunately, maybe he's just watching the TV and going, well, Joe's nowhere near ready for this. And, oh, by the way, he just lost earlier. And I don't mean Joe's not ready talent-wise. I mean the way they booked him and the way they presented him. And then they just beat him earlier with a goddamn small child. So anyway, I can see why he might not have brought Joe's name into that.